Welcome into the Eagle Communications Sports Update right here on HutchPost.com. High school, college, pro, we keep you in the know. Alongside Glen Grunwald, I am Daren Dunn. Today we'll talk a little bit about the Royals, the Jayhawks, and the NBA. We'll even sit down with Hutchinson Community College Athletic Director Randy Stange. But first, we talk about those Hutchinson Monarchs. They split some games over the weekend. They've been right about at that 500 mark. And with a rain delay also happening against the Newton Rebels, rescheduled for July 7th, Glen, they hit it right up at 500 at 2-2.
Well, they need to play ball. The rain has definitely caused a havoc with the schedule, and they're running out of time to be able to make up some of those games. So important to get that momentum as you got, I think July 9th to 10th, right around that is the end of the regular season. And Mark talked about the fact that it's hard to get these games rescheduled and get them into the schedule because they got to get the big qualifiers just around the corner to get ready for that NBC tournament. They got to get these games in.
11-11 overall, 2-2 last week. They pick up a victory against the Clearwater Cougars 6-2. But Glen, they also lose to Clearwater in another game 5-7.
Yeah, tough loss right there. They seem to be going 1-1. We talked about this last week. Did just string 2 wins together. Big homestand coming up for the weekend.
Newton Rebels, they'll reschedule that game for the 7th, but they did play them a couple of times over the weekend or over the past week. They lose 5-1 in one of those games, but wow, they get the bats going, 7-0, a shutout put together by Roper, Lumen, and Bratton.
Well, Loper, Lumen, and Bratton did a great job, and they needed that pitching. They also got some timely hitting from Turner just the other night as well. Got a double to knock in some runs. They got a shutout 7-0. So bats are starting to happen. The pitching's starting to be there. We'll see what happens.
John Deardoff was on hand for Corey Roper's birthday as he turned 24. Of course, his daughter Lacey, with those Lacey Strong bracelets, they were supporting her out there. Unfortunately, they do not get the victory in that one. But upcoming this week, a big Patriots weekend, 4th of July celebration, and Parents Weekend coming up.
Parents coming weekend. First, they have 2 games on the road. Then they come back this weekend, like you said, the doubleheader coming up on Saturday. It's always fun when the parents come back. It's going to be a great time out there, along with Hutch Fest. So we hope that folks can come on out and take in some Monarch baseball this weekend. Should be some great weather.
The away game you mentioned against the Salina Blue Jays, and they come home for that stand, Park City Rangers. We'll have a couple of games against them Thursday and Friday for your 4th of July weekend. Then Newton Rebels on Saturday, and they'll wrap that up on Sunday against Valley Center. Hey, when we come back, Glen sits down with Randy Stange of HCC. It's all here on the Eagle Communications Sports Update on HutchPost.com.
Welcome to the Eagle Communications Update on HutchPost.com. I'm joined now with Randy Stange, the Athletic Director at HCC. And Randy, football season just around the corner. Kind of crazy talking in July, but football season just around the corner. A lot of changes this year because primarily non-conference opponents. Everybody in the conference is going to play a couple 3 actually, Iowa teams.
Right. Yeah, we played the Texas teams last year to open up the season, and we had, I think, maybe 4 years, maybe 6 years of the Texas schools. And now we've added the 3 Iowa schools, Ellsworth, Iowa. We've added Iowa Central and Iowa Western. And so we will not play a playoff at the end of the year. We had the top 4 teams in the playoffs. Now we've done away with that, and we will play a regular schedule with the Iowa teams.
So that's the big change, is that we will not any longer have the playoffs, which we used to go for those 4 top spots.
That's right.
Changes years ago where you had more teams in it, but they went to the top 4, and 1 played 4, 2 played 3, and you played out for a Region 6 championship. Situation now to where the season really matches, it means a lot, and plus those are non-conference games. They do not count as a conference opponent. The Texas matchups was a lot of fun, I thought, by way of traveling down it, but the travel was a long ways. Actually, it's going to be a long ways to Iowa as well, but good, strong competition for the Jayhawk Conference.
Should be. Iowa Westerns won the national championship, I think, 2 years ago. I think they beat Butler last year in the bowl game, so they'll be a really good opponent. Ellsworth has been competitive over the years, and we played Iowa Central, I believe, 2 years ago in the Salt City Bowl. So it should be a great matchup, and we will still have a Jayhawk Conference champion, but that Iowa schools will not be included in that. We just play them as a non-conference opponent. So yeah, we also played the Air Force Prep, and they're off the schedule now, and each team has 1 bye, and we'll play our bye the first game of the year, and I think right now it's set to play Bethany's JV team.
So that's going to be
game,
the
yeah.
kickoff would be just
Right.
the JV. The Air Force prep game was actually canceled last year due to lots of situations going on with the government, and we were able to pick up Bethany JV and make up that ball game, but did not make up that Air Force prep game. So it's going to be here before we know it. I know a lot of folks are going to be interested in season tickets that they can get a hold of you, or they'll be receiving information on that, and that's just around the corner.
Yeah, we just mailed out the renewals for our reserve tickets and foundation members, endowment members, but we do have season tickets available, and really the easiest way to get those tickets is 665-3530 is our office number. Call Carol and we'll be happy to sell you some tickets. It should be a fun season.
Should be a fun season. Daren's going to sit down with Randy and talk a little bit about the year in review and also how he got out of coaching and got into the athletic directorship here at HCC. You're listening to Eagle Communications Sports Update on HutchPost.com. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the Eagle Communications Sports Update right here on HutchPost.com. Joined once again by Randy Stange, your Hutchinson Community College Athletic Director. As always, I am Daren Dunn. Randy, a lot of people know, and maybe some don't know, you're actually a coach here at HCC before you got into being the Athletic Director. Take us through that transition. What made you change from coaching to being an AD?
Well, I enjoyed coaching. I was the basketball coach. Wow, it's been quite a while ago. And I enjoyed that. I enjoyed just the interaction with the players and really just the there's a lot of things about coaching that a lot of people don't like, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the recruiting and just the getting ready for the games, practice, those kind of things. But the athletic director side of it's a little bit different because you don't really have that same touch with the athletes. It's more with the coaches and just dealing with the coaches and some of the problems that they have. And so I've enjoyed that and the relationship that you have with the coaches and helping them succeed and seeing them be successful. I've enjoyed that part of it too. So,
what are the biggest differences between the two jobs that you've personally seen?
Yeah, really, that's probably the biggest. When you recruit a player and you bring him to play for you and your team and then see where he starts, because college is so much different than high school, just the level of play is so much higher. But to see where he starts and where he finishes was really a great, not only as a player, but as a person. That part of it I really miss. I enjoyed just the way that they matured and just to see that process take place was probably what I enjoyed the most about coaching. As an athletic director, it's totally different. You're hiring coaches that usually are winners and have been successful beforehand, and so there's not a lot of movement in that area. But just to see them be successful and how they've I don't know that develop's the right word, but just how they've done it, gone about the process. Really, the process has been what I've enjoyed the most about being athletic director. And it's totally different in the community as well. You don't really have the same. As a coach, you have a different set of people that you deal with, and then as an athletic director, it's really the whole scope, and I enjoy that too. So there's a lot of differences, but really there's some similarities too. So I've enjoyed all of it, really.
Take us back through your process from last year. Take us maybe through some of your favorite moments of athletics at HCC from the year in review.
Well, there were quite a few of them actually. We start off with football season and really winning the Salt City Bowl again, but I would have to say just the way that team came together through a bunch of injuries, that was fun. Our volleyball team won the region and really had a great run through the season and really happy for Coach Hall and the job that he's done with our team. I think probably one of the high spots would be our women's basketball team. Losing the championship game, it's so hard to really even get to the championship game in any type of sport, but to do what Coach Hutchinson has done here the last really 3 or 4 years, it's really been amazing. Really what he's done in the conference, I don't know of anybody in the country that's really been able to accomplish that feat, and so really appreciate what all he's done. I think to make it all the way to the championship game undefeated is certainly boy, it just doesn't happen very often. And then baseball winning the conference was really, you know, Ryan Schmidt has done a great job with our baseball team, and to come back, it's hard to win the conference in any sport, and to win it in baseball, that was great, and appreciate all the work that really all of our coaches have done. Such a great job. It takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, and you know, most all of them have families. It's a sacrifice for their families to coach, and really that aspect of it's probably underplayed, but I appreciate all that they do.
In just a sentence or two, what can fans look forward to this coming seasons?
Well, I think you're going to see a really good football team out there. Really talent just on both sides of the ball, on offense and defense, and Coach Ryan Rhodes does a tremendous job coaching the team. And so I think you'll see some explosiveness out there, some speed. It'll be some fun in football. And then I think volleyball will be good as well. Coach Patrick's recruited well and have a good team. I think you'll see soccer in the fall be really, really challenged for a conference championship. Again, that's watching the World Cup. You know, there's so many things that just what little I know about soccer. Sometimes the best team doesn't always win, but just you kind of have to be opportunistic, and really Sammy's done a great job coaching our soccer team and our women's soccer team, and I think they'll be pretty good. I really do.
Randy Stange, athletic director right here at Hutchinson Community College. Hey, when we come back, Glen and I discuss the Royals and also look at Jayhawks in the NBA. It's here on HutchPost.com for the Eagle Communications Sports Update. Welcome back to the Eagle Communications Sports Update right here on HutchPost.com. High school, college, pro. We keep you in the know. As always, Glen Grunwald, I am Daren Dunn. Glen, we talk now about the Jayhawks in the NBA. How about the first two of the 3 draft picks, much less 2 of the top 5 Kansas Jayhawks?
A little concerned that Embiid was going to fall farther than 3, but he did not. He'll do well in Philly, and of course Wiggins in Milwaukee. That's going to be a good one. The surprise of the draft to me was early, not going until the 34th pick, the first part of the second round. Of course, I'm talking about Cle Anthony early out of Wichita State. But yeah, the 2 Jayhawks up there, 2 out of 3, not bad. There's, you know, they knew what they were doing, and also Bill Self knew what he was doing when he recommended that they came out.
Cle drops a little bit, but big there for Wichita State and the Shockers as well. You saw, maybe you did, maybe you didn't, a reaction, primarily the first reaction that came out from Cameroon was that Joel Embiid was not happy with his selection to being taken by the 76ers, but then they got ahead of it. The 76ers came out and said, hey guys, it can be easily explained as tape delay. So his actual reaction was retweeted out with a big smile on his face. And you're correct to go at 3, a lot higher than people thought he would after his surgery. So you get Andrew Wiggins at 1, and he goes to the Cavaliers. You get Duke's Jabari Parker at 2, and then Joel Embiid at 3. Of course, Jabari going to the Bucks. How about that? Your first 3 selections. You saw all those people in that Champions Classic there at the United Center in Chicago back in November, and what a game that was. Yeah,
no doubt about it. So hats off to the Jayhawks as well, and Parker falling in a good place as well. So it's going to be fun. Those young kids, those young puppies in the NBA.
More news coming out of the NBA. Of course, the big 3 opting out of their contracts. How do you feel about this? Where do you think everybody is going to land?
Man, I don't know where the Miami trio is going to land, but Carmelo's already talking to Chicago, so that could be interesting. I think they're all feeling each other out and seeing where they're going to be going, because if Carmelo goes to Chicago, hey, who knows? I think it's been known that LeBron wants to play with Carmelo. I kind of predicted it was going to be maybe a year from now. It's going to be sooner possibly than that. And money talks. We'll see what happens.
Money definitely talks. It's almost as if there's no loyalty anymore in any sport, much less the NBA. Bleacher Report coming out with a little funny. Last week, they put LeBron James in every single NBA uniform because really, he could go just about anywhere. USA in the World Cup, big for them as they take on Belgium Tuesday afternoon. Check them out. And wherever you are, people most likely, no matter what happens, chanting USA. We move now to the Royals. Royals still a couple of games, and when I say a couple, I mean 4, Glenn. 4 games above 500 at 43-39.
Yeah, they're still they just swept the Angels, so they're doing well there, and still fell into that 4-game losing streak after winning 10 straight. They're still starting to get it together, though, I think, and it's going to be exciting as they head toward the break. The break is just a little over a week away, and I'm talking about the All-Star break. is they'll be wrapping up against Detroit. That's going to be a key matchup in that wrap-up against Detroit on a weekend. That's a weekend from this 4th of July weekend.
Yeah, they beat the Angels 5-4 at home. They drop one 6-2 at home, and then 8-6 at home against the Angels. They played the Dodgers last Wednesday. Of course, they lose to the Dodgers 5-4. But against Minnesota, as they start this stretch against Minnesota in Minnesota, they started off with a 6-1 victory. They had 10 hits. Pretty decent games for the likes of Perez. He gets his 10th home run of the year. Butler left 3 on base. Maybe some concerns as your designated hitter, maybe hitting into too many double plays and leaving too many guys on base.
Could be, but I think you still keep him there. And the important thing, this is going to be a long road swing. I think it was a 9-game road swing, so we'll see what happens when they come home. Road swings can be good things, they can be bad things, and we'll know here in about a week.
Moustakas went 2 of 3. He scored 2 runs as well. And you look at Escobar, 2 of 4 with 4 ribbies. However, he did leave 3 on base. Now, have you heard about this pitching debacle? A couple of your pitchers, Ventura and Chen, out and about late in the night, places they shouldn't have been in Minnesota.
Well, Chen shouldn't be because he's been struggling a little bit. They finally got him back in the rotation out of the bullpen, so he needs that. The boys are going to be boys. The boys of summer. What can you say?
A stripper via Twitter hitting up the boys of the Royals in a bad way. Folks can look into that if they'd like, of their own volition. Coming up for the Royals, 2 more on the road against the Twins. The Twins are struggling this year at 37-44. Then they'll take on the Cleveland Indians. That will be on the road, as you mentioned, those road games coming up. 3 games on the road coming up against the Indians as they start the 4th of July weekend. Hey, for Glen Grunwald, I am Daren Dunn. We'll see you next time right here on HutchPost.com for your Eagle Communications Sports Update.